Victoria for the last 3 years. Um, she can tell you how long she's been here, but I'm telling you, my journey here, sitting in this seat, was a lot easier because I had her to my left, and I did ask her a lot of questions. You know, when you take these roles, sometimes you really don't know what to expect, and it is so wonderful to have somebody with a lot of knowledge. When you don't know something, you can get some direction, and she has been my rock through my speakership. So everything I've done, you can blame on her. No, her service to the tribe has been exemplary, and it's going to be a big loss for us today. But you know, hey, I wish her the best, and I know you all do too. And it's been an honor sitting next to her. And I've taken enough time. I'm going to let her stand up and say some words because it is about her today. You know, we're saying goodbye to a friend, not forever, because, you know, as long as she has a cell phone, I'm sure she'll have an opinion. So, Victoria.
Thank you. I really didn't know this was going to happen. I was thinking we'd have this little private thing in the back room later. But anyway, thank you very much. You almost made me cry. Almost. It has been an awesome 11 years, and I can't believe it's gone by as fast as it has. And I've served under 2 wonderful administrations, lots of tribal counselors, and I'm glad some are still around that have been here quite a while. And it's been a joy. It's the best thing about the job is serving our citizens and helping those who just have nowhere to turn, and they end up calling their tribal counselor, and you can help them. That's the best part about this job. It definitely has been the most challenging career that I've had of my 3 in my long life, but it's also been the best job I've ever had. And I'm going to miss you all. But I have an idea you will see me around in some other role. But I have enjoyed it, and just thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, and on behalf of the Tribal Council, we have you a little shadow box made. It has your oath of office on the back.
Nice.
And yeah, and oath of office on the frame. So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you all very much. I love it.
I'm gonna get out here. Thank you.
You can leave your gifts at the door. Thank you.
All right, we got 2 minutes and then we'll start our rules meeting. So. Order. Melvina, would you give invocation, please?
Ita dado lista. Edo de galande he, chili heli gahanles giati no kohi. Nimana digital stan heli do west hando gilon stan he, ostwatli lo jelegi skadu. Father, we just thank you for this day. We just thank you for all your blessings, Lord, that you have bestowed upon us. We just ask you to be in our midst as we go about the work of the Cherokee Nation for the betterment. Lord, just be with each and every one. Guide us and protect us. In your name we pray. Amen. Amen.
Shelley, would you conduct roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Mike Shambaugh.
Here.
Johnny Kidwell. Here. Sasha Black Box Qualls. Here. Danny Callison. Here. Julia Coates.
Here.
Joe Deere. Mike Dobbins. Here. Kevin Easley. Here. Lisa Hall. Here. Daryl Legg. Here. Dora Petskowski. Here. Cody Poindexter.
Honey.
Joshua Sam. Here. Melvina Shotpouch.
Honey.
E.O. Smith. Here. Condessa Teehee.
Ani.
We have a quorum.
Okay, if you've had a chance to look at the minutes, could I have a motion, please?
Second.
Have a motion and a second for approval. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, first up from the Marshal Service, Marshal Shannon Buell.
Good afternoon. First, those I couldn't see beforehand, let me apologize for how I'm dressed. This is holiday weekend and we're doing a lot right now, so let me first say that. Also, I want to comment on Deputy Speaker Vasquez. I've been here 24 years. I've seen a lot of councilmen and women come and go. Some I've liked, some I really had no opinion on, some I didn't respect at all. She was one of those ones that I will absolutely miss being here and seeing her every day. So that's coming from the Marshall side of the house. I regret that I won't see her like I used to, so that's that. Other than that, we have a busy weekend. If there's anything on the rules package you have questions on, I'm more than happy to answer them.
Anybody have any questions for Marshal Buell? I will say good luck this weekend. You got your hands full.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, sir. All right, next up from the Office of the Attorney General, Chad Harshaw.
Good afternoon. A couple of updates to share. I know every month I try to provide an update on pending cases that we're monitoring in various courts throughout Oklahoma and federal districts. We still have several cases, or a couple cases actually, that we're monitoring in Rogers County. That tends to be the problematic area where cases are, with respect to non-member Indian jurisdiction, are making their way to the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals. So my team continue to monitor those cases, including the Strobel case that we have on pending at the Supreme Court. One thing that we've been working on for quite some time, and you may recall an executive order establishing the Criminal Law Reform and Planning Task Force. That executive order from Chief Hoskin put together a cross-section of the Cherokee Nation. So my office, representatives from this council, representatives from the court, representatives from various programs that assist in our criminal justice efforts, to take a deep look at how our system's working and what we can do to improve it. And I'm pleased to let this body be aware, as I'm sure you already are. I believe you received a notice that report has been finalized and it's available for public inspection on the Cherokee Nation website. And this has been a really interesting process. I mean, we all know that since the McGirt decision, there's been a remarkable amount of effort that has gone into standing up a fantastic court system to rise to the challenge of our obligations for expanded criminal justice. Now, obviously, I can't take credit for all of that work that was done, mostly by my predecessor, Sarah Hill, and the court to put together, a dramatic and massive expansion of the work that they do. And to put that in perspective, last year alone, it was close to 4,000 criminal cases that were filed in our court from all across northeastern Oklahoma. So this was a really interesting review to go back through and see where we're at, what we've done. And I can only say that it's nothing short of remarkable, the amount of work and effort and infrastructure that's been established to handle this influx of criminal cases. One of the objectives of this report was to identify areas where we can improve or we can continue to expand our justice system. And the report focuses a lot on, how can we help be a progressive and comprehensive criminal justice system, not just putting people in jail or filing cases and moving them through, but how can we deliver a direct impact to individuals who are having an experience in our criminal justice system. So that report focuses a lot on how we can help reintegrate folks back into the community, what services we can provide, post-conviction. There's a lot of different parts to it that are, and recommendations that have come out of it. How do we look at, amending sentencing based on behavior, gaps in our codes, statutory changes we can make, especially the reentry program. What services can we provide for incarcerated folks to help, get them in a position when their time is up to go back into the community as productive citizens. And it was really interesting to have that dialogue with all of the folks that were on the task force and put together those recommendations for review. And I expect and anticipate over the coming months that we're going to start implementing these recommendations with code changes, perhaps funding requests to expand some of these services to create the most comprehensive and progressive criminal justice system that we can. And so if any of you all ever have any questions about the recommendations and the results of that report, I'm, of course, always available anytime. One other item I'd like to highlight, and this is a new program that I've started, and it's one of the parts of the job that I really enjoy, and that's getting people down here to see the Cherokee Nation, see our justice system, see what we do. Because there's a lot of folks who just, all they know is what they read about in the papers, and depending on which paper you read, it could be, it could be a distortion of the truth. And so I've reached out to a law firm, Gable Galtwalls in Tulsa, and invited them to bring down all of their summer associates to see our court system, do a cultural and history tour of the Cherokee Nation, visit our museums. These summer associates are all young up-and-coming lawyers that are going to be, shareholders at these large firms, perhaps even run for public office, and giving them an opportunity, especially as they're in law school and wrapping up their studies, to see what the Cherokee Nation is and what we do. It was extremely productive. We had a lot of great feedback, and they seemed very engaged and very much appreciative to see what it is we have going on over here. And so that's a project that I hope to expand in the coming years and get as many of these young lawyers in here to see the Cherokee Nation and the people that work here doing the great work that we do. And so that concludes my report for this meeting. If there's any questions that you have, I'd love to take them.
Anybody have any questions for General Harshaw? Well, I'll just say that myself and Councilman Legg sat on that committee, and there's a lot of diversity from that committee coming from different angles on the questions. It's not an easy thing, and starting from scratch, how we did, I think it's a good thing that we need to look at ourselves and say, hey, where can we do things better? What do we need to improve on? Because if you don't do that, you're never going to get better. I commend you for this. It's a difficult thing, but it was very much needed. So yeah, I'm obviously looking forward to working with you, and I know the council is looking forward to working with you too. And I think it's a great idea to bring other people in to understand our court system and what we're doing. That we deal with a ton of people and a ton of cases. So, they need to see what kind of work the Cherokee Nation's doing. I think it's a great thing.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Councilman Easley.
Yeah, and I just want to say this, as somebody who has practiced in the criminal justice system in multiple jurisdictions, the state of Oklahoma's had 120 years to get criminal justice correct, and they still don't have it correct. We've had 4, and I think we do it better than they do. Is there room for improvement? Yes, there's no doubt. But we're always here at Cherokee Nation focusing on improving. And I'm proud of what we've done. And I've practiced in those courts before I took office. I was there from the beginning until recently, and I've seen the progress that has been made, and it's truly astounding. And I don't think anybody else could have accomplished what we did here at Cherokee Nation. So I'm proud of the job that you've done, AG.
Thank you.
Good words, Councilman. Anybody else? All right, thank you, sir. All right, up next from FOIA and GRA is Gwen Terrapin.
Good afternoon. It's
Hey,
good to
Gwen.
see all of you today. Excuse me. You should have a copy of my report, and I'll be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Does anybody have any questions for Gwen? All right, I see none. Good job.
Thank you. And on a personal note, I would like to say that I appreciate Counselor Vasquez and everything that she has done for us, and always being a champion for everyone, and all the support that she shows to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Gwen. All right, next up from the Tax Commission, Sharon Swepston.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You do have my report. I would like to add, I put a handout at each one of your seats that has to do with the Mason Treat Act that goes into effect on September 1st. It's got a list of FAQ that maybe if you have calls from your citizens, then you can, that might help you answer some of the questions. I'm also going to be giving this to my staff, so the operators that answers the phones for the Tax Commission will have this same set of questions and answers. We also have it posted on the website for the Tax Commission, so it's there for people to go out and look at, so if they have questions, because it is kind of confusing. Other than that, I'll try to answer any questions you might have.
Okay, Sharon, without getting in too deep, very briefly, give us your take on this.
Basically, if you buy a vehicle at a dealership, they are most likely going to pre-register that vehicle for you. They have to do that within 2 days. They will give you a paper tag. If you were an Oklahoma citizen and you had a metal tag, then you could use that metal tag and put it on that new vehicle, and it would get pre-registered under that number. But for our citizens, they'll get that. Then within 10 days, they should receive a metal tag in the mail. They still have 30 days to register their vehicle with us. All that does is register them for that 30 days so that there is a tag on their vehicle that can be traced to their name, their phone number, their address, basically.
So is this a state of Oklahoma tag?
Yes.
Okay. And will we be able to get it switched over to a Cherokee Nation tag?
Yes, there's no switching to it. That's just a pre-registration, so they're going to come in and bring their title and their
Okay.
MSO, whatever they have, just like they always do within 30 days, and we'll get it registered and get them a tag.
Okay. Councilman Callison.
Sharon, is this due to the Turnpike escapade that we've listened to the last 6 months or so?
It doesn't say that, but in my personal opinion, yes. It's a way of them being able to track those paper tags and get those vehicles that they were missing in the system, so.
Anybody else?
And
Oh, I'm sorry.
And you know, a lot of us that were around when we started these turnpikes, we were told once they were paid for, we wouldn't have to pay for them again. So, you know, I'd just like to throw that out there. That's just something that we've, you know, in my lifetime, I've had to pay and still paying. So,
Yes.
you know, thank you.
Anybody else? EO.
Does your staff get hit pretty hard with questions about the toll booth?
Not necessarily about the tolls anymore. They did for a while when they started getting bills. But some of them have gotten bills, some haven't, because if they don't have that information on them, they can't send them the bill. But we have made sure to try to tell our citizens that where they need to go. There's a website where they can go and put their tag number in, and it will pull up if they have an outstanding bill for the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority.
Okay. One thing too, I had 2 great calls today, this week on your girls at Sallisaw are doing a great job.
Thank you.
I'll pass that on.
I sure will.
Anybody else? Joe.
On used dealers, so the cars right now, so if they purchase it for this date, they can still do paper tags, but after that date, they will be doing this with the used dealers as well?
Yes. And it's also individuals, they won't do the paper tags if you buy from an individual, then it's either you or the seller has 2 days to pre-register that vehicle. And you can go online and there is directions in there how to do that. But you have to go online and pre-register it, even if you buy it from an individual.
So if I have a car now, I probably need to bring it tomorrow or something pretty soon? Okay. Thank you.
That's kind of going to be a cluster.
Yes.
I mean,
That's why I was trying to get some FAQs out there, because I felt like it confused me, so I know it's going to confuse other people also. It is confusing, and I wanted to make sure that our citizens understand that just because they get a metal Oklahoma tag does not mean that they have to go back and register that vehicle with the state of Oklahoma. They still come and register it with us if that's what they desire, and we hope that is.
Okay.
That our citizens will come back and register with us.
Candessa.
it seems like there's a clear political motive behind this legislative act. Would you happen to know what the penalties are associated if you fail to register within the?
I do not. I have not seen anything on what the direct penalty will be.
Okay.
So
We just assume that there's probably a fine associated.
I'm sure there's a fine, and I'm sure depending on how length of time and that kind of stuff, or if they don't have a document showing they own the vehicle, I'm sure the vehicle could also be impounded.
Wow. Well, thank you for joining us this afternoon. Thank you for the time, Chair.
Anybody else? All right, thank you, Sharon.
Uh-huh.
And before we go on, I forgot to ask a question to our AG, so just real quick, and I'm not going to ask for anything in-depth, just probably a yes will probably do, maybe. Our car tag compacts, are we still in negotiations?
The negotiations are ongoing. There's still, as I mentioned last time, quite a bit of distance between our respective positions, but I am continuing the conversation, and as soon as I have something to report back, I will absolutely do that, Speaker.
All right, thanks, sir. Okay, next up from the Gaming Commission, Audra Imhoff.
Good afternoon. I have
Afternoon.
submitted my report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Does anybody have any questions for Audra? All right, doesn't look like it. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
And last but not least, from Human Resources, Samantha Hendricks.
Good afternoon. You have my report. I'll be happy to answer any questions. I kind of revised the report just this month, so it still has a lot of the same information, but it's a little bit more informational on some things that are happening in HR. I did put at the end some information about applicants and how they can apply and how they can reach HR with our applicant hotline and such. So if you have something that you get a question from a constituent or something, you can certainly refer to that, or you can certainly call us. So we'll be happy to help any way we can.
Condessa.
So with the rise of artificial intelligence, I've seen some things floating around. For instance, a statement that our AI, artificial intelligence, may not take your job, but someone trained to use artificial intelligence may absolutely take your job. So whenever I'm thinking about AI and the increasing use of technology, what is Human Resources, how are they looking to incorporate any AI tools to streamline processes or increase efficiencies?
So we've started into that already. So when you see the chat bot, that is part of a form of AI. And that is something where we can give answers to applicants 24/7. And it's also not in English, but it's also in Cherokee at the same time. So we have that piece. We also have text engagement, which is actually where we reach out to the applicants when we have open interviews. You've heard me talk a lot about that. So that's a form of AI. So we're always looking at ways to streamline. And actually, I did bring our IT executive director because I know she can share some more things in reference to the workforce. And it's my colleague Paula Starr. Just a minute. So have her come up.
Yeah, so I love this question, obviously. We are actually working on a couple of initiatives right now that I think are of particular interest to you all, and one is a virtual agent, an internal virtual agent. So the point that you made about a person with AI skills being able to take a job, what we're trying to target to do is to take away some of those menial tasks that our employees are doing today and put those in the hands of technology. So with virtual agents, we've seen through studies that they can increase efficiencies by 20 to 40%. We're starting with IT, with a virtual agent within IT to answer IT questions. When you all have issues with your tablets or laptops, you can absolutely go to this agent and start trying to get that help. And if it can't help you, then it's going to help you create a ticket. And we're looking to extend that to HR as well. So when you think about employees who have questions about policy, trying to go out and dig through our documents to see where the relevant policy is and validate it, that it's the right one, we're looking to put an agent in place to do that. So again, it's a one-stop shop. Hopefully we can extend it to other departments as well and start to move it out that way. Another thing that we're looking at right now, that we're actually actively working on, is website redesign, with the thought of infusing AI into our website to help citizens find their resources much quicker and easier. I always use the example of burial assistance. If you want to find burial assistance, trying to navigate the website to get there is going to take you probably 4 clicks, and you have to know where you're going. Most people don't know where to go to find that resource. So being able to do plain English text to ask, how do I get to burial assistance when you get to our website, we're working on that as well. So there's a lot of tasks around that. And, you know, the tools are great, but the tools are only as good as the job that we do at pairing them with human creativity, right? Like, humans have to work with the tools. So we're also actively working with the Cherokee Nation workforce on a couple initiatives. The first one is Cherokee Futurists. Cherokee Futurists is a group that we have started where we've reached out to other departments. We know there are people in departments who love technology, who want to have a bigger hand in what we do with tech. And so we've reached out to them to say, hey, join us once a month with IT, and we'll get together and we'll talk about emerging tech. And we'll talk about how we use these things in this environment and we solve real problems with it. So we've had 4 sessions of that so far. We've had at least 80 people join each time. And it's been really good interactive dialogue. We're seeing people walk away from these sessions actually using the tools that we talk about and doing good things with them. And then the other thing that we're doing is we're having our 2nd annual Technology Summit. Again, this is a Technology Summit for Cherokee Nation employees. All of you are invited. It is October 9th at 8:30 at the Chota Center. And we'll be getting invitations out to you as well. But we're going to do some really exciting stuff that day around AI and talking about it and developing a library of use cases. Because again, I mean, like, we come at it from the perspective of what are the real problems that we can solve with this technology versus, hey, this is cool tech. What do we do with the tech? We need to look at the problems first and then see what tech applies to that. And so we're absolutely making efforts to do that. And again, that Technology Summit, October 9th, we're going to do an in-depth AI workshop. We'll do a lot of cyber work, too. There's going to be a cybersecurity escape room. We're really excited about what we're bringing forth. And we'd love to continue that conversation with you all.
Wonderful. Well, you answered the other 2 questions I had, which is how are we currently leveraging the use of AI or planning to at Cherokee Nation, and is our workforce being prepared? You definitely covered those. But I think that, you know, as we serve the Cherokee people, we can't do that without information technology. IT is the lifeblood of every organization, and if IT is not optimized, and if we're not integrating these technological tools, then we're going to be behind the curve. And as Cherokees, we have always been at the forefront of technological innovation, whether we're talking about the use of the printing press for our own indigenous language, on to now where with the integration of AI into not only our workplace, but also for interaction, for better service to constituents, to citizens, whether it's through the website or anywhere else. So I appreciate you joining today. I personally would love to see IT report to this body more often, and I enjoyed hearing what Cherokee Nation is up to with regard to AI and other tech tools.
Thank you.
Thank you for the time.
Anybody else? All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Samantha, you done?
I'm good unless there's any other questions.
All right, does anybody have anything for Samantha? All right, thank
Okay.
you, Samantha.
Thank you so much.
Okay, next up, old business, none pending. Number 1, under new business, Councilman Easley, would you take that, please?
Yes, sir. This is a resolution confirming the reappointment of Frank Delozier as a commissioner of the Cherokee Nation Gaming Commission. Put this in the form of a motion.
We have a motion and a second. Is Mr. Delozier here? All right, come on up. You bet. Tell us why you want to be reappointed to the Gaming Commission. Yeah, turn. Yep, you're good.
We good?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, I care. And I've been a member of this commission for 3 years. And I'd like to say, ask my colleagues that question, but obviously they're not here today. But, I've been I'm a small business owner. I have a team there. I'm a part of this team. And being a team member, when you're actually a part of something and when you're not. And I feel like I'm a valued person in the Gaming Commission. And everything that we do together is, there's a lot of camaraderie there. Got Dwight Birdwell, Linda O'Leary, Richard Hull, John Sparks, and our new executive director who's doing an amazing job. And it's all just going smooth. And I'd love to just continue doing that for the next 3 years.
Does anybody have questions for Mr. Delosier? Melvina?
I don't have a question, but I see him working month to month, and he is very interested. And like he said, everything goes smooth in the meeting, and I enjoy seeing that, the work relationship you have with your colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Councilman Dia?
What's up, Frank? Known this guy for a long time. Great business guy, always persistent. I can't vouch for his painting skills, but the rest of it, doing business and gaming, when I ask him questions, he's very knowledgeable and on top of it. And what I like about Frank is if he doesn't have the answer, he won't say an answer. He'll say, let me find out. So I'm always glad to see him, what he does over there. So I would just like to be a sponsor, Shelley. And thank you for what you do. I know it takes a lot of time, brother.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
Yep.
Anybody else? I still think if it's not broke, don't fix it. So we're going to vote. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? All right. Congratulations, sir. We're glad to have you.
Thanks for having me. You guys have a great day.
You too. Okay, number 2, Councilman Teehee, would you take that, please?
Yes, this is a resolution confirming Rita Bunch as tribal council appointment to fill the board member seat of the Cherokee Nation Sequoia High School Board of Education. And I put this forward in the form of a motion.
We have a motion and a second. Is Rita here?
Unfortunately, due to previously scheduled travel, Rita is not available today.
Okay. Then we'll vote. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? All right. Motion carries. Number 3, Councilman Easley, would you take that, please?
Yes, sir. This is a resolution confirming Clarice Doyle as a tribal council appointment to fill the board seat as an editorial board member of the Cherokee Phoenix, and I put this in the form of a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have anybody here for that? Oh, come on up.
Thank you. CO.
CO.
And what of to Speaker Shambaugh and to my Councilman Easley and to all the councilors that are here and my elders that I see here, so a few here. I want to say thank you for this opportunity to once again serve on the Cherokee Phoenix Board. My entire professional career has been centered around the use of words and the relationship of words to the concept of shared knowledge. And I think that the Cherokee Phoenix is the tool and the medium that connects us together and can bring us to a better understanding and a better working relationship within our own people. So I'm excited about this, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, I agree. Those are good words. Especially in my district, a lot of our elders, they don't get into the IT part of it. And the Cherokee Phoenix is so important because, that reaches the masses, and a lot of people read that. So, Clarice, I appreciate what you do. It's very important that we offer that to our people. Councilman Easley.
I don't have a question, but I want to say something about Ms. Doyle. There's no doubt she's got the resume, but I want to comment about her as a person. Whenever Claremore was hit by the tornado, her house is out east where it was hit the hardest, and myself and Speaker Shambaugh and Councilor Callison went to her house because Clarice's house was not only in the area that was hit the hardest, but her home was one of the homes that was hit the hardest in the hardest area. and it was totaled. And I'll never forget, we came up and we walked up to her that day, and she looked at us and she said, "I'm fine, you all go to somebody that needs the help." And I will never forget that about her, and that just speaks to who she is as a person. So
Thank you.
she's got my full support.
I appreciate everything you said.
Councilman Deere.
I just want to be added as sponsor. She is over there in Claremore, and I've got to see her work and got to visit with her a couple of times.
Yeah.
So, but congratulations.
Thank
I mean-
you.
I mean, I know we still got to vote, but
Yeah.
thank you.
Me also. Shelley? Yeah, that was a scary deal, and
Yes, it was.
yeah, I remember the story
Yes.
of the storm shelter there, and you all weren't in that very long before it, I mean.
No, we had the storm shelter a couple of weeks prior to the tornado. They had just put it in, and my husband, I want to thank him. I thank him every day. He gets something in his head, and that's what we do. So I wasn't too excited about getting in that storm shelter, but I'll just tell everybody here, when that tornado was imminent, we got in it. And it was lucky we did, and we're appreciative, you know, God's always looking out for us. Our Creator always knows what we need. So we just need to listen and follow. And I just want to thank you because seeing Speaker Shambaugh and our counselor, Easley and Kellison, it meant a lot that our people responded to the people in need. Because although I had a lot of family and a lot of support, it means something when your community steps in. And it takes us a long way. We still have a long ways to go, but we will get there. We will rebuild, just like our ancestors did. We keep going, and we rebuild, and if necessary, we rebuild again. And so thank you, and appreciate all the kind words.
Okay, let's vote. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Thank you, ma'am. It's good to have you back. Okay, number 4, EO, you want to take that?
Yes, sir. It's a resolution authorizing Cherokee Nation become a member of the National Congress, American Indians, and to appoint a tribal delegate and an alternate. I'll put this in form of a motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Number 5, Dora, would you take that?
A resolution electing the office of Deputy Speaker for the Cherokee Nation Tribal Council. And I put this in the form of a motion. Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. And we'll have discussion now. As you know, obviously with Deputy Speaker Vasquez's resignation, we have an opening here. So at this time, I am going to take nominations for that position. Councilman Smith.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, for the position of Cherokee Nation Tribal Council Deputy Speaker, I would like to nominate Kevin Easley Jr.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any other nominations? All right, let's vote. Councilman Easley? Well, no, wait a minute. Councilman Easley, first of all, would you accept this nomination?
I do.
Okay, and why do you want to be Deputy Speaker, Councilman?
That's a funny question.
Isn't it?
That's the one I didn't prepare for. No. No, it's an honor to be nominated by Councilman Smith, and I know he's a counselor that has a lot of respect from all of us here, and being an elder statesman and the time that he has spent here, it's just an honor for that to come from him. And quite frankly, there are now, was 17, there are 16 people sitting in this room, and every single person in here is qualified to serve in that seat. There's no doubt about it. And so it's just very humbling to be nominated for it. I asked for your vote, and it would be very humbling to have your all's support for that position. And we've had a great one that's been in there a long time. I hope to fill her shoes, and I'm sure I will fall short of that many times. And I just ask for your all's grace if I do get this seat in letting me know whenever I do fall short and helping me to improve. And I hope to serve you all. I've enjoyed serving in Rogers County, and I hope to serve you all as Deputy Speaker. Thank you.
Any questions, more questions? Let's vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, congratulations, sir. You'll look good in high heels. All right. Number 6. Dora, would you take that, please?
An act amending Title 29, Section 108D of the Cherokee Nation Code annotated, and I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have
Speaker, I move to table.
We have a motion to table. Do I have a second? Okay, we have a motion and a second to table. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, number 7. Councilman Kidwell, take that, please.
Happy to, Mr. Chair. This is an act amending Title 19, Council, Chapter 1, Section 3, and I move for its approval.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, number 8. Councilman Deere, would you take that, please?
Yes, sir. This is an act amending Legislative Act 14-22 and declaring an emergency. I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Councilman Kidwell.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to be added as a sponsor, please.
And Candessa. Okay, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, number 9. Councilman Legg, would you take that, please?
Discuss and possible action, interviews of applicants for the District 11 Council seat vacancy pursuant to Article 6, Section 13 of the Constitution of the Cherokee Nation and Title 19 Council, Section 3 of the Cherokee Nation Code annotated, and I'll put that in form of a motion.
We have a motion and a second. Okay, we're going to open this up for discussion. Before we have our candidates come up, does anybody have any questions about this? Okay, so this is the order I have. A lot of times we have people leave the room and go sit in there, but you know what, it's mic'd up. You can hear everything anywhere, so it really doesn't matter. Okay, so how we're going to do it, we'll call you up one at a time. I have some questions I need to ask you before we get started, and then we will open it up for council questions, but you know, you're going to get to say a little bit about yourself, and then we'll do questions. And after all the applicants have had a chance to be interviewed and you get to, you know, state the reasons why you want to take this position, then we will have a roll call vote of this council, meaning everybody's name will be called out and we will select a person to vacate the empty seat. And I do believe it takes 50% to fill. Is that correct?
9 votes, correct.
Yes. Okay. All right. Well, let's get started. First on the list is, and I hope I say your name right, Philip Euler. Is that right? Come on up. Did you hear all that?
I did, thank you.
Okay. All right. Come on up.
You say your first name?
Yep. You get to be first.
Say, call me what you want, just make sure the check cashes.
All right.
Mr. Rowley, did you complete the affidavit that we gave to you a moment
Yeah,
ago? Okay, just make sure.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hello, I'm Philip Euler. Thank you for having me here today. I appreciate you.
Okay. Mr. Euler, tell us why you want to be the District 11 Tribal Council representative.
You know, having served in leadership positions in both the U.S. military and the business world, one thing I learned right away from aspiring to be like those that went before me, and just as Councilor Vasquez has a vast legacy, I would only hope to be able to equal, if not learn from her strength, from her passion, and from the love from her heart that she shows all of our people.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a few questions here, and then I'm going to open it up for council questions. Okay, the first question, obviously, is that you are over 25 years of age. I can see that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Are you an enrolled citizen of the Cherokee Nation?
I am, yes, sir.
Are you registered to vote in Cherokee Nation elections, including the Cherokee Nation Tribal Council District Number 11?
Yes, sir, I am.
Do you reside within the current boundaries of the Cherokee Nation Tribal Council District 11?
Yes, sir, South Coffeyville.
Okay. Have you been convicted of a felony charge under the laws of the United States
No, sir.
or any other state, territory, possession thereof?
No, sir.
Okay. Your mailing address is where, South Coffeyville, you say?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And your physical address is in, I assume, South Coffeyville, too?
Yes, sir. The actual is 326 Wyandotte Street, corner 4th and Wyandotte. It's, when I first bought my house there, when I retired, the P.O. box was not new to me since I'd have a farm on the Kansas side before, so just a little bit different world. Yes, sir, I do. I love it there. People are incredible.
Okay. And how long have you lived at that residence?
July of 2021, sir.
Okay. And there was an affidavit asking that if you had any outstanding fines imposed by the Election Commission from a previous Cherokee Nation election.
No, sir.
Okay. And I only have one question, then I'm going to open it up to the council. Do you vote in
I
our
do.
Cherokee Nation elections? Did you vote in the chief's race? Did you vote in the council race for District 11, the last ones?
I voted in the chief's race. I did not vote on the constitutional amendment. I had discussions with Chief Hoskins regarding that issue so that I would be better informed. And unfortunately, the day of voting, I was actually hospitalized.
Okay. All right. Do we have any questions for Mr. Euler? Councilman Kidwell. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Euler, thanks for being here today. Number one, my condolences, obviously, for the passing of your father. I know that was a little over a year ago, but still, I know that's a painful thing. I have one question. Number one, appreciate your time and service.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. From one veteran to another, I appreciate your service. You have a break from 92 to 97 from the Marine Corps to the Air Force. Was that, were you sabbatical, doing business, other things? What were you in South Coffeyville at that time? What was going on there?
I was local to the area, to be fair. So in 92, when I came back from the Middle East, I actually did a rotation through the 38th DMZ relieved 10th Marines so they could go into theater and we could take their position at the tip of the spear for that rim. At that time, younger days, so what Uncle taught me was to walk on water and raise the dead. And in my heart, I know there's only one that can do that, our Creator. So it was hard for me to transition from the where I had come from. I lived by a rule then. We had a first sergeant, or sergeant major, who would brief us during our ops before we go in country. And he would always tell us, we called him Mad Max, he would always tell us, never be angry at somebody defending their own dirt. And that stuck with me. Regardless of what you believe or how you worship, everybody's people. And the one common denominator of all the countries I've been to, Africa, Middle East, Korea, Japan, around the world, down south, parents want better for their kids. And that's just, I don't care who you are or what you eat. So for me to transition, it was a growing time to learn to step outside of being a warrior, to understand now what could I do with what I had been taken through? I don't believe in coincidence. I believe in the Creator knows my path before I even came today. I believe in that strongly. And as a previous part-time Baptist preacher, that's what I preached as well. I give it all to Him. I find favor with Him. When I need discipline, He has no hesitation. So I hope that answers your question, sir.
It does. I appreciate that. And, regardless of how things go today, just know that we appreciate your service as a council here, and thank you for being here today.
Yes, sir, thank you.
And I don't think you answered, but did you vote in the District 11 election the last time?
Are we talking the constitutional amendment?
No, for
Or before that?
for the tribal council seat for District 11, the last 21.
In 21?
You weren't there, were you?
No, sir.
Okay, you weren't there yet. Okay.
Yeah.
Candace?
Well, thank you for putting yourself forward for this position. It is a big deal to seek public office in this way. And so my question to you is, were you to be selected for this position, what would you use your term as counselor to focus on? What areas, what issues?
I think you all discussed it earlier in your meeting. Communication is big. Whether that communication is by word of mouth, which is the best, right? Way before the internet, before we got to the house, if something happened at school, your auntie already knew it, and you're gonna get your licks. Communication has to be constant, not too much, not overwhelming. You put it out there, let the communication be received, and then be ready for the questions, in the sense that, we could all sit here and I could teach each of you how to assemble, disassemble a piece of weaponry, for example. But until you use that weapon, you're not really going to have a true understanding of how that works. So in a leadership position as counselor, what I see in my community, it's very rural. So word of mouth is very strong. People see who you are, they're going to ask questions, right? Good and bad, and that's okay, because it's a simple conversation. And I've worked 92, 95, I actually started my path down to one day I thought would be law school. What has resulted from that is being a paralegal, process server, and a mediator. And that brought me on a path to understanding that, like my list used to say, there's always three sides to every story. There's your side, there's my side, and somewhere in the middle is the truth. So I hope to be able to be accountable, even if I'm wrong or I give the wrong information. Like the gentleman before on the Gaming Commission, I have the same theory. If I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know, but I will find out. And there's nothing I like more than bird dogging is research. Part of being geek, I guess, these days, but I hope that answers your question if I didn't know.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for the time, Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone else? Joe?
Just a real quick question on your resume on the business side. The last 7 jobs, the longest one you've been one is at 3 years. And on your second page, you named different states. And on the first recently, there's no states listed. Is it because it's a tech job or just the moving around inconsistency?
I can speak to that directly. So once upon a time, if you'll remember, in the medical world, we were all paper. And then at some point, we may have had what I call the digital revolution that brought us into the electronic medical record. So based on my experience as a Navy corpsman and then later as a paramedic, I was asked to step up. I'd already started making a transition to the IT realm. And so for me, it's kind of like as you get older in the military, you realize you can't go kick in doors, as much as you used to. So I tried to look for something that I could aspire to, and I did. I give you an example. I used to travel 44 weeks a year, suit, tie at a bottom. I'd work 15-hour days on site. So a typical week for me, just to give you a quick explanation, Sunday I would saddle up, hit Tulsa International, catch the last flight out to whatever client site I was going to. In my case, I worked for the 3 largest healthcare providers in the United States, Ascension Healthcare company out of Tennessee, and a company out of California. And so a guy like me, I always give the joking description, Phil, why do they call you to be the project manager? And I always say, well, I'm kind of the Kung Fu G.I. Joe guy with the Kung Fu grip. They keep behind the glass, because when a project is so broken, they bring guys like me in, or ladies, to bring in to resolve the situation. And so that's why you'll see a lot of transition, because I did go from hospital to hospital during that event.
Okay, that
As
answers
far-
what I needed.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, you're good to go. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right, anyone else? All right, thank you, sir.
Well, appreciate everyone.
Come on. All right, next we have Lana Darty. Is Lana here? I guess not. Okay, Jessica Bertram. Oh, ma'am.
Hello.
Tell us why you want to be the tribal councilman for District 11.
Well, you know, getting to go second is a real advantage because you hear all the questions out there. So, to the guy before me, thank you. I have been a recipient of a lot of the services Cherokee Nation provides my whole entire life. You know, as a child growing up, the food distribution program is what kept my family alive. And through the years, I've been a recipient of scholarships and different services that Cherokee Nation has provided to their citizens. And I always wanted to, at some point in time in my life, be able to serve back and give that back in some way. And I'm now at that point in my life, and I would consider it a great honor to be able to serve the Cherokee members in that capacity.
Okay, I'm going to ask you the same questions that I
Okay.
asked Mr. Euler.
Maybe I have them memorized.
You're over 25, right?
Yeah.
Never ask a woman her age. I'm not going to.
Yeah, I'm over 25.
All right. And you're an enrolled citizen of the Cherokee Nation?
Correct.
Okay. Are you registered to vote in Cherokee Nation elections, including for Cherokee Nation Tribal Council District 11?
Yes, sir.
Do you reside within the current boundaries of the Cherokee Nation Tribal Council District Number 11?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Have you been convicted of a felony under the laws of the United States of America or into the state, territory, or possession thereof?
No, sir.
And what town is your mailing address?
I'm in Veneta.
In
It's
Veneta?
433-506
Okay.
East 290 Road.
And that's physical address is the same?
Yeah,
Okay.
we don't.
All right. How long have you resided at that residence?
Aside from the 3 years that I lived in Big Cabin my entire life.
Okay. When you say that, how many years have you been at that residence now? So, I mean, continuously. From here backwards, how long have you lived at that residence?
So I grew up there. My parents live on one side of the property and we live on the other. So I grew up there. After I got married, I lived in Big Cabin for 3 years and then moved back. So in 2000,
Okay.
moved back. So been back there for 24 years.
24 years,
So
okay.
literally it's 10 miles from where I was before. So.
Okay. Do you have any outstanding fines imposed by the Election Commission from a previous Cherokee Nation election?
No, sir.
Okay. And the one question that I always ask everybody, did you vote, do you vote in Cherokee elections?
I have voted in the Cherokee election, but I did not vote this last time in 2023. My mother passed away, and the voting was the weekend of my dad's birthday, and we'd already had plans to. Was his first birthday without my mom, so no,
Okay.
I did not vote.
Okay. I don't have any more. Does anybody have any questions? Cody?
First of all, I want to commemorate all of the applicants for putting their interest in, because I know it takes a lot of guts to get up here in front of all of us and answer questions. But I guess my question would be, what would be your current community involvement within your community?
So my current community involvement, I just got done with 20 years of at KMO Power. So this is the first time in my life that I've ever had the opportunity to have time to do anything community-wise. I've literally just, put myself through college and worked very hard. So this is my first time. Now, in our community at the Veneta Cherokee Indian Clinic, they did a breast cancer awareness fundraiser for a couple of, maybe 5 years, and I always, was a part of that. They sold some T-shirts and had a bunko night and that kind of stuff. But on a larger scale, I have not. And so this will be, this is my opportunity to serve.
Thank you, Speaker.
Councilman Kidwell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ma'am, thank you for being here today. I want to just say your application and everything you put in, very robust. Thank you.
Thank you.
For that. And I would call the fact that you are a certified forklift driver is something that I would like to call.
They teased me so bad about that. They even, whenever I got my certification, they gave me a picture of a forklift and they put some training wheels up next to it. And I had that in my office for almost my entire career. So, yeah, it was definitely a man's world, but.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you putting all that
Yeah.
together. And just one question for you, just in your own words, what's the job of the tribal council? What do we do here?
My sister was on the Youth Tribal Council whenever we were growing up. I was always envious of that. My mom would let me ride over here with her, so she wouldn't have to ride by herself. And I was always in all of that. Of course, the Tribal Council is the legislative branch of, the Cherokee Nation. I'm going to be honest with you, all the decisions and all the things that you guys do in here, I don't have a clue. I would definitely have to be taught by each and every one of you and have to learn. And I would be open to that. That would be a real honor and opportunity for me.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Appreciate it. Thank you, ma'am.
Candessa.
Well, thank you for joining us this afternoon, and I agree with the previous counselor. You provided us with a lot of material and through which to analyze your candidacy. So my question for you is the same one that I posed to the previous gentleman. Were you to be selected for this role, what issues would you focus on? What would your area of interest be for the constituents of District 11?
I think in all honesty, I would have to say that for the first part of this, I would have to learn my role. I would have to learn, from everybody on here, what to do, how to do it, and the best way to do it. And then from there, Ms. Vasquez has done a lot for our district, and you don't have to be sick to get better. And I do think that in all areas, there's always room for improvement. What those areas are, I just couldn't stand here and tell you honestly today. I could probably make something up, but I'm not going to do that. I'm sure that issues would come up, and then as I, had learned and been taught, and I would be able to see what those areas are and do the best of my abilities. Of course, all of the programs that we provide to people, I think are great. And I appreciate all those. And I would like to be an example of somebody who, took the hand up and not the hand out. As I said, Cherokee Nation has done a lot for me and my family over the years. And I would like to be an example of somebody who literally had came from nothing. And with the help of the Cherokee Nation and my drive to succeed, I've gotten to a different point in my life, and I think that we should all try to get to that point and then turn around and give back.
All right, thank you for your answer. Thank you for the time, Chair.
Councilman Easley.
I want to first compliment everybody on standing up here and taking these questions. That's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah,
It's not like
and the people behind me are going to really benefit. They've had extra time now.
It's not like we gave you 30 potential questions and said, look these over. I mean,
Yeah,
You're just,
yeah.
this is cold calling.
Well, you guys aren't that bad, I mean, you're really not.
I do have a question. Do you like road trips?
Do I like road trips?
Yeah.
Are you saying that because my husband is a retired state trooper and he drags me around?
No, I'm saying,
Okay,
I'm saying that because we were under a constitutional mandate here to pass new districts. And we spent a lot of time doing that. And the new district for District 11 is massive.
It is,
It's
it
like a
is.
third of the reservation. Are you prepared to spend a lot of time in a car?
I am prepared to do that. My husband and I are both fully retired now, and we're empty nesters. We have no one at home. So I can honestly dedicate my entire time to this. And we have a pretty big family. I'm not going to say that I'm related to everyone in the areas you went to, but I could be.
Thank you.
Councilman Callison.
Thank you very much for coming in today.
Thank you.
Have you thought of being a counselor before this position is opened up to be appointed?
I have thought of it. I was not in a point of my life where I could have given it my entire time and attention. And so I just don't think that you should do anything half-handedly. And so until I got to a point where I could do that, I was not going to take that on. I was not going to put my name in a hat for something that I couldn't give my all to.
The second part of my question would be, have you considered, of course, this appointment will be until December,
Correct.
where you'll file in February, like myself and several others. Have you thought of the process of campaigning and the strain it takes on you for the 6 months that you campaigned to get this position? Have you thought anything of that for the second part?
I have thought of that. I have thought about that a great deal. Of course, I don't want to overthink it and think that, I'm just a shoe-in for this, and now what am I going to do for campaign? I just think one step at a time. I think the first thing you got to do is get in here and, first win the appointment and then go from there. As far as stress and strain, I don't think that it's going to be anything that's beyond my capabilities.
Anybody else? All right. Thank you, ma'am.
You're very welcome. Thank you, guys.
All right. Next up, we have Andrew. Is that Huff or Hal? Huff. All right. How are you, sir?
I'm Andrew Huff. You absolutely know nothing to me because I just put my name in down like it said. I was planning on going to run for council. And then somebody told me, I think Friday, hey, if you're wanting to do that, you might want to go ahead and put your name in. So let me tell you a little bit of something about myself. And what the Cherokee Nation has done for us. When I was a senior in high school, my dad was assassinated in West Africa. We couldn't get a death certificate or anything like that. And the Cherokee Nation stepped in. Wilma Mankiller actually petitioned Congress and got us that death certificate. So throughout my lifetime, the Cherokee Nation has helped us, and now I am the project manager at for a contractor for CVR Industries, the refinery up there in Coffeyville. I reside in South Coffeyville, Oklahoma. It's a family business. My brother's the actual one that's head of and owner of the company, but I take care of everything there. We do underground utilities, emergency management, stuff like that. I take care of all the fire water systems for there, and I also take care of the fire water systems at CF Industries in Verdigris, which big plants like that have their own pressurized systems. So if there's a fire, you can fight it from you don't have to have a truck there. There's things, and I take care of all that. I have been doing that for the last 6 years. I've resided there in South Coffeyville for the last 9 years at that particular address. Any questions?
Okay. I'll ask you my round real quick. Obviously, you're over 25 years of age.
Almost twice.
Are you enrolled citizen of the Cherokee Nation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, are you registered to vote in Cherokee Nation elections, including for Cherokee Nation Tribal Council District Number 11?
Yes, sir.
Do you reside within the current boundaries of Cherokee Nation Tribal District Council Number 11?
Yes, sir.
Have you been convicted of a felony charge under the laws of the United States of America or any other state, territory, or possession thereof?
No, sir.
Your mailing address, what town is that?
South Coffeyville?
Okay. And your physical address is in South Coffeyville, too?
Yes.
Okay. How long have you resided at that residence? You say 9 years?
9 years.
Okay.
Almost 10.
Okay. Do you have any outstanding fines imposed by the Election Commission from a previous Cherokee Nation election?
No, sir.
Okay. And do you vote in Cherokee Nation elections?
I have not, because every time they've came up, I've been on emergency in a refinery outside of our state.
Okay. All right. Questions, Councilman? Councilman Callison?
You had mentioned, as you were explaining yourself to us, that you were going to run for council. What was going to be your reason for running, and what was your platform? If you could share just a little bit of it with us.
I was going to run, just try to give back to the Cherokee Nation what they've gave to me over my lifetime. So, my basis is probably, we're set up for South Coffeyville and other parts of Nowata County as the emergency response team. I know whenever Claremore got hit by the tornado, there was also a cell that went through South Coffeyville, and the city of South Coffeyville and Nowata County management had us on call, say as soon as, is your equipment ready to come in and get streets and stuff open? And like I said, I told them as soon as they had the power off, I'd have them roads open. Okay, thank you.
Councilman Kidwell?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sir, thank you for coming in here today. I know this is a painstaking experience, but we do appreciate you coming in. I'll only ask you this one question because we don't really have a resume for you, but are you a veteran at all? Did you serve in the military?
No, I didn't. I was not in the military. I
Okay.
was a fireman at South Coffeyville for around 10 years.
First responder, man, that's great. No big, this is a pass or fail, man. Don't
Sorry.
worry about that. One other thing, what do you, in your own words, what do you see our job on the tribal, what is the tribal council's job? What do we do?
You try, from what I see, you try to take care and do what the citizens of the county need. Like I said, my specialty would probably be on more emergency things, whether it's in my district or anybody else's district. If somebody called, I'm more than willing to go and help and give them my plans. When in '07, when we had the massive flood up there of Coffeyville and everything like that, I had boats out, was going into people's houses at the South Coffeyville area.
Okay, and that's kind of what you envision your role as being?
Yeah, and I'm also in construction, so, I know there's a lot of construction going on and stuff like that, to be able to help and aid in any things like that.
Okay.
As far as legal, I know you got attorneys here, he would know more about legal stuff than I would.
Don't worry about that guy.
He would probably keep me out of trouble.
We keep him in a corner, it's fine. No, I appreciate your answers, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Anybody else? Kendessa?
I know Counselor Poindexter is going to be upset with me because I'm just going to steal his question. But Danny stole mine, so. Just kidding. So what is your current involvement in the Cherokee community there in District 11?
I've had kids that have went to the things, and I help them anytime they would need help. As far as I've taken some equipment up there before, and they were complaining, needed some stuff in front of the roads, that they had big potholes and stuff. I don't think they know that I did it, but they complained to my kids, so I rolled in after hours and did some grading and stuff like that with our equipment.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for the time, Chair.
Anybody else? All right, thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Y'all have a good day.
All right, next on the list is Mike Purcell.
Hello, I'm Mike Purcell. I'm Michael Purcell, but I go as Mike. I reside in Big Cabin, and I'm in several different things. I do a lot of construction work my whole life, and I'm a 20-year UPS driver out of Anita. They're in the district, and I'm here seeking this vacancy. And they said the appointment or the interview was at 1 o'clock, and I just knew you guys had a buffet down here or something to eat. But anyhow, hey, good to be here. Appreciate the opportunity. So, yeah.
All right, before we get started, I want to ask you a few questions, and then we'll open it up to council. Obviously, you're over 25 years of age.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, don't feel like the Lone Ranger. I'm more than double that. So,
yeah, but your hair looks better than mine.
Just more gel. Are you an enrolled citizen of the Cherokee Nation?
Yes.
Okay. Are you registered to vote in Cherokee Nation elections, including for Cherokee Nation Tribal Council District Number 11?
Yes, sir.
Do you reside within the current boundaries of Cherokee Nation Tribal Council District 11?
Yes, sir.
Have you been convicted of any felony charges under the laws of the United States of America or any other state, territory, or possession thereof?
No, sir.
Your mailing address is in what town?
Big Cabin.
Okay. And your physical address is within that
In
area
the
too?
same town, yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right. And how long have you resided at that residence?
24 years.
Okay. Do you have any outstanding fines imposed by the Election Commission from a previous Cherokee Nation election?
No, sir.
Okay. And do you vote in Cherokee Nation elections?
Yes, sir.
Did you vote in the last Chiefs race?
Yes, sir.
Did you vote in the last District 11 race?
Yes, sir.
Outstanding. Okay. I'll open it up now for questions from the council. Councilman Kidwell.
Sir, thank you for coming today.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Much like I've asked before, just in your own words, what's the job of the tribal council? What do we do here?
Well, as a legislative branch, I know there's a lot of rules and, boy, a lot of decisions made right here from what I see. I try to watch every monthly online, and I ran for the last race in District 11, and anyhow, you guys do a great job. It's tough up here, just like you were saying earlier. Some of those questions you're not ready for, but anyhow, but you guys do a great job of making a lot of decisions and tough ones. And anyhow, that I guess like in my district, where I'd be in District 11, as far as the last time when the election was here, it was there was just a lot of people that had issues and concerns, and I got to get out and visit and hear all those. And so, there's a lot of, this is a good opportunity to help a lot of people right here, and the resources seem to be unlimited, so.
I would say that is not quite the case. The need is unlimited. The resources are limited. And, depending on where you're at, a little more limited than others. But, no, I appreciate your answer there. Thank you.
Yes, you bet.
Regardless of what happens in this, do you plan to run next year for this seat?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Councilman Callison.
Yeah, Mr. Purcell,
sir.
can you share maybe what was your platform as you ran the last time and kind of where you're at right now and why you want this and for the election coming up?
Sure. That's, so, I was asked that by several people when I would go out door to door. And they'd asked me what my platform is, and I said, you know, I really don't have a platform. I'm not a, I'm not a counselor, obviously, and I'm not a politician. No, I mean, no pun intended, but you know what I mean? So that part of it is kind of tough for me, just because I really don't have a platform other than helping people. And listening, being a listening ear, and solving problems. I mean, that's what I do every, day in, day out, as far as my job and everything else, but.
Thank you.
Yes.
Kendessa.
Thank you for appearing before us today. Thank you for putting your name forward. It takes a lot of courage to do so.
Yes, thank you.
So my question for you is, what distinguishes you as a candidate, or maybe to phrase that another way, why should we vote for you for this position?
Well, just as far as experience with people, I have a passion for people, and as far as trying to help and make decisions just every day, day in, day out. I feel like I can do that. This particular platform, sitting in front of this mic, is tough to talk. I'm not going to lie. So it's definitely not part of my wheelhouse right now. And so one-on-one, I'm all about it. But it's tough to talk. But anyhow, I'm here. Like I said, I'm here for the people, and I've got a construction background as far as that goes. I know Cherokee Nation has a lot going on, a lot of building, a lot of building going on. So, but that's a part that I can really help in a lot, and so yeah, for sure.
Thank you for your answer, and
Yep.
thank you for the time, Chair.
Yep, thank you.
Councilman Poindexter.
Aside from your previous runs at campaigns, and I'll ask this question again, what would you say your current community involvement is?
So right now, I have numerous people that reach out for, I guess probably an issue that I try to touch on a lot right now is healthcare and contract healthcare. So that seems to always come up, where there's citizens that, get turned down for certain healthcare issues, as far as any major surgeries and just, and medication within our citizens. So that's something that I'd really like to be more involved in, because you just hear that a lot. Seems like ongoing from citizens, yeah.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Deere, did you have your hand up? All right.
I just got a quick question. Since you've been through it last time and ran, and you got a construction background and a UPS background dealing with people,
Yes.
some people get in this job, and now that you've been through that, you can probably answer this better than some right now. They get in this job and they get stressed out and can't handle it, and then some people can sort of cruise through it and knows how to deal with that. Being that you've been through that campaign rush, how did you handle that stress?
How did I handle it then, when
Yeah.
I went through the campaign?
Yeah.
I mean, that's me and my wife get in a car, truck, whatever we're in, and we go door to door. So that was my campaign team the whole time, was me and her. So I didn't have a team. We didn't pay anybody. I didn't want anybody to go out and speak for me, for one, because I don't, but that stress level, there is no stress level for that for me, because, going door to door and being, personable with citizens, every individual, whether it's children or the elderly. So no stress level there for me.
No there. So
No, sir.
You got through the hard questions when you went door to door?
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, there was a lot of tough questions. In particular, I mean, there was, I was asked questions about, what as far as what I thought of the chief, and what I thought of our council member, at that point, and then what are you going to do for me as far as when you get in as far as healthcare? Then that was the biggest issue, was healthcare. So, just being turned down. I ran into a lot of people in District 11 that that was one of their big concerns, is just being turned down for health care.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. That was it.
Not all healthcare, I want to make that clear, not all healthcare. It's
Yeah.
just, there's a lot of different, people have major surgeries and that kind of thing,
Yeah.
and, and just on hold and waiting, for such a long time, so.
Yep, all right, thank you.
Yep.
Sasha?
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you for being here today with us.
You're welcome.
You mentioned logging in, watching the meetings live stream. What is one piece of legislation that you have seen within the council that you are, that stuck out most to you, and why?
Well, I mean, I don't know if there's anything in particular. It's just kind of as a whole, driving down the road and pulling up, I say that, driving down the road. That didn't sound good, did it? Sorry, Bob. Let me rephrase that. No. No, but, just watching it live and that kind of thing, and just listening as I'm working, and usually on a piece of equipment. I'm usually in a skid steer or excavator. That sounds better in the car, right? So, but, I look at it as a whole. There's really nothing, I don't know if there's anything that really stood out, to me, besides, you guys seem to get along really well on a lot of different things, and everybody's on the same page as far as, settling issues. And, there's just really, I'm not gonna lie, there's really nothing that really stood out to me, other than the healthcare. When anything comes up as far as healthcare goes, I've kind of have a listening ear, just because, that's something I'm just touching on, so.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Lisa?
Thank you, Speaker. As you know, as counselors, you see us at a lot of events. Our calendars are full, and we're very supportive in our communities. We have community meetings and stuff. One of the questions is, are you willing to give a lot of your personal time up?
Oh, absolutely.
To be as a counselor?
Oh, I'm
'Cause
sorry.
It does take a lot of time. That's one of the questions I'm asked, they're like, are you ever home?
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
So, just being self-employed along with, working at UPS as well, I realize how much time it takes just a job, and I guess it depends on your passion, and so this is obviously a passion for me. I ran last time, I'm here again, and I'm not really going away, you know what I mean? So, so I am passionate about it. And as far as putting in the time, it's not a problem. My wife and I are close to retirement, from the 9 to 5. So, putting in time is not an issue, absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Josh?
Thank you, sir. I'm sure we probably should have kind of asked this in previous questions, but, you mentioned you enjoy seeing how we work together. We all enjoy working with one another, getting things done for our citizens, And a big part of that, of our jobs, is also working with the administration of the Cherokee Nation.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel the administration and the direction they're going with their leadership looks?
Well, as far as I'll give you a little history on my work to go along with that. Is that so working at UPS, I'm a union steward. So as far as fighting for, I guess, what we call my people, the union employees, with administration, we call it fighting, but yeah. But there's a lot of happy medium there. There's a lot of working together, and so as far as my experience with that, and going to panel hearings, with the union. And so that, as far as litigations, on that level is probably a little different than this, but I do have that experience as far as working with administration that we have. So, me, as far as working with your administration here is, it wouldn't be an issue, but I am my own voice, so I'm not a so-called yes man vote. That's why we have a body, that's the way I look at it. So if but hey, I tell you what, it takes everybody to make it work. So I'm all about that. Yeah. Yeah.
Anybody else? All right, thanks, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
All right, last up, Kendra McGeady.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. All right, give us your spiel, Kendra.
Okay.
Why do you want to be the replacement for Victoria Vasquez for District 11 Tribal Councilman?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me here today. And as far as I am concerned, my entire professional life, adult life, has been about service. I have a heart for service, and I have long intended to run for this seat when Victoria completed her term and when she announced that she would be retiring early. Obviously, I wanted to be considered for this replacement. I am currently the director of Pella Van Transit and the Northeast Tribal Transit Consortium, so I provide transportation to tribal and non-tribal citizens. I've served on the Gaming Commission and the editorial board of directors. I've spent a lot of time investing in the Cherokee Nation and getting to understand the services.
Okay, before I open up to council questions, I'm going to ask you a few standard ones that I've asked everybody else. Obviously, you're over 25 years of age.
Just barely.
Barely, I was going to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
I meant barely. Are you an enrolled citizen of the Cherokee Nation?
I am.
Are you registered to vote in Cherokee Nation elections, including for Cherokee Nation Tribal Council District Number 11?
I am.
Do you reside within the current boundaries of Cherokee Nation Tribal Council District Number 11?
Yes, sir.
Have you been convicted of a felony charge under the laws of the United States of America or of any state, territory, or possession thereof?
No, sir.
And what city, do you live in Veneta?
I do.
Okay, is your mailing address in Veneta?
It is.
As well as your physical?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How long have you resided at that residence?
At this residence, 12 years. I've been a resident of District 11 for 40 years.
Okay.
And Veneta. So.
Do you have any outstanding fines imposed by the Election Commission from a previous Cherokee Nation election?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you vote in Cherokee Nation elections?
Yes, sir.
Did you vote in the last Chiefs election?
Yes, sir.
Did you vote in the last District 11 election?
I did.
Okay. Council, you're up. Councilman Kidwell, you're the guinea pig.
Oh, man, my mic was on the whole time. I should watch what Danny's saying to me over here.
That's right.
Kendra, thank you for being here today.
Yes,
we appreciate it. And also thank you for the phone call and reaching out the way that you had throughout this process. Just one question for you, which I've asked a few of the other ones. What, in just your own words, what does the Tribal Council do here? What do we try to do?
Well, the Tribal Council, you pass legislation that affects not only the citizens of today, but for generations to come. We are to be good stewards of tribal dollars, be an advocate and resource for the residents, the citizens of our district. So.
All right, pretty good answer. Thank you, Mr. Chair. That's all I have.
Kendessa.
You mentioned that you had, well, first of all, thank you for joining us this afternoon. It takes a lot of courage to put yourself forward as a candidate for public office. And I wanted to double check on the pronunciation of your name.
It is Kendra McGady.
Kendra McGady, okay. Thank you, Ms. McGady. So my question for you, you mentioned that you had intentions to run for this position when when Councilor Vasquez had, was going to term out. So that would have been in '25. In conceptualizing your run for that position, what did you identify as your platform, your areas of interest, issues that you might like to tackle as the District 11 counselor for you to be?
Okay, and you have to forgive me, I'm a very hot-natured person, but District 11, I know that we have a shorting of housing in District 11 that I would like to see continue to be addressed. I work for Grand Gateway Economic Development, and I know that the Cherokee Nation was doing a lot of infrastructure. You were GIS mapping and looking at infrastructure. I'm not sure where that project is, but I would like to know because infrastructure is a very important thing, and I'm not sure what outside of Veneta that looks like for District 11. I would like to see us continue to build on promoting our culture through the Anna Mitchell Center and partner with great community projects. So those would be my platform there.
Well, as an artist, I'm very pleased to hear you mention the Anna Mitchell Center because You know, Counselor Vasquez and I, both of us being artists, well, and Counselor Poindexter as well, you know, the perpetuation of culture through artistic practice is a major component, I believe, for Cherokee heritage and Cherokee culture. So I'm really, really thankful to hear you mention that, because I feel like that's a continuation of Counselor Vasquez's legacy as well as her mother's.
Absolutely, and Anna Mitchell Center is just a gem in Oklahoma and in the Cherokee Nation, so, yes.
Absolutely.
Very proud of it, very proud of it.
Thank you for your answer. Thank you for the time, Chair.
Cody?
All right, thank you for coming today, Kendra. The reason I keep asking this question is because community involvement is very close to my heart and what really inspired me myself to run for council. And the reason I ask it a lot is because I don't necessarily believe someone has to hold an office to be involved in their community. And so I would ask you, so what would your current community involvement is?
Well, my current community, I've been involved in a lot of things over the years, but currently I'm a Rotarian in Veneta, and I'm a member of the Veneta Chamber of Commerce and the South Grand Lake Chamber of Commerce. And I'm also on a committee for the Veneta Main Street Alliance.
All right, perfect. That sounds amazing, and I enjoy hearing people's stories from what they do in their communities. That really inspires me, so thank you for your time, Chair.
Joe Deere?
Yeah, I was looking, you're the Director of Transit. Before 2016, where was it still transportation?
In 2016.
Before 2016.
Well, I worked for Home of Hope. I was the Director of Planning and Development.
And then, when did you get your GIS training? You had mentioned GIS.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't do GIS training. I work for a council of government, and we, public transit is just one department, so we have a GIS mapping department.
Okay.
So I kind of try to pay attention to everything that goes on. I know a little bit about a lot of things in economic development.
And you had liberal arts coursework. What college did you go to? Did you go to NEO?
NEO, yes, sir.
Had a feeling.
Go NEO. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's why I was curious, because when you said GIS, I was really interested.
Yes, it's an interesting field. Certainly, my nephew is working in GIS at Grand Gateway right now, so I'm really proud of him.
Yep, okay. Well, thank you for being up here today and getting quizzed and
Yes, sir.
blood
Thank you
tested
for having me.
afterwards.
Yeah.
So. Thank you, that's it.
Councilman Shopouch?
Thank you for being here today. You mentioned cultural, and that's pretty much very important to me, but most of all, the language preservation. What's your thoughts on the preserving the language?
Well, it's of the utmost importance. I know that when we went through COVID, unfortunately, we lost a lot of our language speakers, so I am beyond proud to see the Cherokee Nation investing so heavily in preserving our language.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Whoa, wait. No. Josh, too? Okay. Sasha?
Thank you,
Ladies
Speaker.
first.
Going to ask the same question as candidate previously. I appreciate the phone call as well, sorry. But I know I've seen you at some previous events and that your involvement with Cherokee Nation. With your background and your involvement, what would be one piece of legislation that is most important to you and why?
Well, the thing that I see going on right now in the Cherokee Nation that I'm really into, and I seem to feel that it's a very important piece, is the Adult Treatment Center, for one thing, that we've opened. I'm a firm believer in rehabilitation, and so I'm very pleased with that. I'm not sure what the legislation tied to that looked like, but that would be something that I'm very proud to see taking place in the Cherokee Nation.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Speaker.
Josh?
Thank you, Chair. Like I said, I apologize for not asking this question to the other candidates, but we know a lot of part of our job is we speak to our citizens, we see what the need is, then we come together with the administration just to see how we can fill those gaps and how we can improve for the next day, right? So how do you feel about the direction that the administration is having on our tribe and also the ability to work with them to voice those needs of your citizens?
Well, I feel like I'll be able to work with the administration just fine. As the Director of Pell Van Transit, I serve 7 communities and 9 chiefs up in Ottawa County. So I feel like I'll have a great working relationship with the administration. As far as the direction that they're taking, I'm very pleased with it. Again, the investments that we've seen since COVID, I think have been very keen and very smart. Rehabilitation, language preservation, our new hospital that we're building, which I think is amazing. So I believe that they're moving in a very positive and progressive direction. So, yeah, thank you.
Anybody else? All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
And I would like to say to you all, just like some of the councilmen said, it is difficult to stand in front and get grilled with questions. You know, the good thing about this council is they're not real mean. In some of the previous councilmen, people were scared to death to walk up that microphone for some of the questions they would get asked. So, you know, you guys did a good professional job, and I commend you, fellow councilmen, for that. Very, very good questions. And just briefly, you know, this resolution and for the nomination and things like that, and I would like to say thank you to our council attorney, John Young, and our Attorney General, Chad Harshaw, because this took, and Kevin Easley had a lot of good input too, because, there was a lot of discussion about this, and we need to make sure that we did this right, and it was followed by the letter. And actually, we went above and beyond what we were supposed to do to conduct these interviews. So I just want to say thank you for you two and Kevin for everything you did to make this possible. Okay, like I said, this will be a roll call vote. And since we've had a motion and a second and the interviews are concluded, do you have something to say, John?
I think the next item is the resolution.
Yes. Yes, but,
Okay.
so are we through with questions and talk? Does anybody have anything else to say? Yes, sir.
Mr. Speaker, is the plan to forward a single name onto, I'm just kind of figuring out the process here. We're going to vote and have one name forwarded to the tribal council. So this one name, so if I could say something real quick.
Yes, go ahead.
Well, I think that there was, part of the process is trying to, we've got some great candidates, and so it's hard to cipher through some of this. So in my mind, as I think about this, I think that, we need to find someone who's best suited to fill the vacancy right now and the most tied into what the council is doing and is trying to do right now. While next year's race looks like there's going to be a lot of good candidates that are going to be going for that race, but really what I'm thinking that my job here to do is to fill the spot right now for the one most qualified, most tied into the person that to step in and continue what we're doing right now, the best qualified for now.
Yes, that's correct. And when you say we're taking one name, we are taking one name, but when we do our roll call vote, we're considering all of the people who came and interviewed today, who is on this list, and we will pick each councilman will pick whoever you think is best suited to fill this role at this time.
Okay, roger that. So while we have many good candidates, we have to pick the one most ready to step in today.
Today.
All right, roger.
Because
Thank you.
after we're through having discussion and we're through with this agenda item number 8, then we will move on to 9, which is the actual nomination, and we will pick our person to fill vacancy for that.
Okay.
There's only one name that goes.
Yes, but it will. But that's after, that's.
Mike, Julia.
Oh, I'm sorry. Where's she at? Julia.
I imagine this will probably go nowhere, but I will once again continue to voice my extreme discomfort with doing voice votes when we are essentially acting as, the voters on candidates. I mean, we don't ask people in our elections. We give them the security and the independence of a private ballot. And I don't agree with doing it this way. I have voiced this for years and years and years. And I think that the privacy and, as I said, the independence to be able to vote on a ballot rather than in a public voice vote is the highest way to do it among a democratic people. And so I just want to make that motion, I guess. I don't know if it will receive a second or not, but this is uncomfortable every time we do this for me, whether it's for the position of an officer, whether it's for someone to serve on a committee. And I generally just zip my mouth because I don't want to, I object to doing voice votes on these kinds of things. I've voiced this before, I'll voice it again. So that's it. Is there a second?
And if I may interject, under Title 19, Chapter 5, when the law talks about this, and it says, all voting shall be done by public roll call. So that is exactly what we are going to do.
Okay, well then I'll recommend later at some other time that be amended, but okay. Thank you.
I respect your comments, Councilman, and we'll look at that. But as of right now, that is the rules. Okay, is there any more discussion? Okay, we are going to move down to item number 10. Joe Deere, will you take that?
This is a resolution nominating Kendra McGeady to fill the vacancy in District 11 Tribal Council seat. It's an empty
Back up.
spot.
We are not going to actually nominate any particular person.
Okay.
We are going to leave that blank, and
So I'll
each
leave it blank and
councilman,
then nominate?
each councilman
Okay.
needs to, go ahead.
Then I'll read it
Now,
regular.
hold
We'll
on.
vote on each
Our
one of the
councilman.
applicants.
Okay, then we'll vote. So I'll just read it regular, then we'll vote. Correct. Okay. This is a resolution nominating blank to fill the vacancy in the District 11 Tribal Council seat. Put that in form of motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion or any questions about how this is going to go? So you know it's going to be a roll call vote, and you choose between the candidates when you cast your vote. Are we good?
Mr. Speaker?
Yes.
I'm confused because we have something that is proposing Ms. McGrady, but then your comment says that we choose between the candidates, so I'm confused.
Did you not withdraw that?
I withdrew it.
Joe, Councilman Deere withdrew that name.
Okay, so when you call the roll, then each of us is supposed to speak a name for who we're voting for. Is that, am I understanding?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Okay, Shelley, if there's no other questions. All right, Shelley, conduct a roll call vote, please.
Joe Deere,
Kendra McGeady.
Mike Dobbins, Kevin Easley,
Kendra McGeady.
Lisa Hall,
Kendra McGee.
Johnny Kidwell,
Kendra McGeady.
Daryl Legg,
Kendra McGeady.
Dora Petzkowski, Cody Poindexter,
Kendra McGeady.
Joshua Sam,
Kendra McGeady.
Mike Shambaugh,
Kendra McGady.
Mobile Shot Pouch, E.O. Smith,
Kendra McGady.
Condessa Teehee,
Kendra McGady,
Sasha Black Fox Qualls, Danny Callison, Julia Coates.
Abstain.
We have 14 votes for Kendra McGady and 2 abstentions.
Okay, again, I'd like to thank everybody who put their names in, and I know it's a difficult thing to stand before us, but you all did very well. So with that, are there any announcements? Councilman Deere.
Yeah, I just wanted to do a quick reminder, since we did our NCI AI today. October 28th through November 1st is the annual meeting at MGM, and there is a 2-day federal recognition discussion for an hour and a half each day. But I would suggest those rooms are filling up quick. And after that room is filled, MGM, they're sending everybody else across the street. So I just want to do a quick reminder so we have some advance time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
If there's a majority going to NCAI in October, we need to move the meetings because it's that week.
Be sure and get with, if you're going, we need to know so we can make the correct arrangements. I would just like to say this, again, lost a friend today, but we're gaining another. So congratulations, Kendra. And we look forward to working with you. Victoria, as always, we're going to miss you and we love you. So don't cry on us. But I need one more motion, please.
Motion to adjourn.
Have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? We're adjourned.